Hi everyone, we're Team 7, and today we're going to be talking about survivor syndrome and corporate downsizing. This topic is important because oftentimes when organizations decide to pursue a downsizing effort, the focus is often on the victims, that is, those employees who are actually laid off from the company. Our focus today will be on the other side of the equation, the employees that survive mass layoffs and remain with the organization. We will review the meaning of survivor syndrome by discussing its definition, examining its effects on employees, and demonstrating a brief scenario. Then, we'll talk about which HRM strategies should be most concerned with the effects of downsizing on survivors and its relevance to managers and HR professionals. We'll also discuss how management can apply this information by implementing solutions to help to mitigate survivor syndrome and its effects. Finally, we'll conclude by providing a brief topic summary. Sometimes referred to as post-downsizing stress syndrome, survivor syndrome can be collectively defined as the feelings, thoughts, and behaviors, most often negative, of those employees that survive mass layoffs that come about as a result of a corporate downsizing initiative. Often, after surviving layoffs, surviving employees will gradually begin to feel anxious and fearful as they begin to question why the organization decided to lay off many of the people around them. This may eventually manifest in paranoia as survivors begin to wonder whether they're next on the chopping block. Surviving workers are also likely to grow angry, frustrated, and stressed, as often they receive a wider workload and increased responsibilities. They may begin to question whether or not they truly fit with the organization, and figure they may not be working for the same company they once believed it to be, or the company that they were presented in the recruitment or hiring process. These feelings and second thoughts often lead to a demoralization that manifests in workplace withdrawal, leading to an increase in absenteeism and tardiness, a decrease in productivity, and may even cause employees to seek employment elsewhere, ultimately leaving the organization voluntarily. The process of survivor syndrome begins with the actual downsizing event, as a company's top management decide to undergo a downsizing effort and internal restructuring. According to Dr. Barry Shore, a professor and management researcher, company management is often under immense pressure to respond quickly and decisively to market forces that they perceive to be a threat to their organization, and feel compelled to take immediate and drastic action, largely leaving employees out of the process altogether, providing vague, confusing, or even no information at all to employees. Management may even provide deliberately misleading or deceptive messages to workers, or even deny the extent of layoffs and other downsizing decisions. They might also downplay the concerns of remaining workers. This frequently leads to a deterioration in workplace morale and mistrust. Workers who survive layoffs will begin to gradually develop psychological symptoms like stress, anxiety, and paranoia, or even physical symptoms like sleep deprivation or disturbance, weight gain or loss, headaches, and muscular tension. This combination of sinking morale, psychological and physiological symptoms then lead to counterproductive behaviors and sometimes deviance that make organizational goals all but impossible to reach. Another way of thinking about and understanding survivor syndrome may be to think about how survivors are depicted in popular culture, like film and TV shows. Think about your favorite horror or disaster movie, where the characters are faced with a man-made or natural disaster or threat. Oftentimes the characters who survive are overcome by feelings of guilt as they question why they were spared while their friends or colleagues weren't so lucky. They often express feelings of hopelessness and despair, and a general sense of malaise sweeps over everyone. While obviously an extreme and sensational example, thinking about this may be a helpful or interesting way to help to understand the kind of impact actual employees face after a downsizing event.
All right. Good morning, Hugo. Thanks for meeting with me over Zoom today.
Good morning.
All right. So I have something pretty important to discuss with you today. So the company has decided to actually lay off a majority of the workforce this week, but you'll actually be remaining in your position.
Okay, thank you. But why did the layoff happen?
Well, we'll just say that top management felt that it was necessary given the current climate.
Okay, I can understand, but like exactly what does it mean for me, like in the company?
So you're going to have pretty increased responsibilities for the foreseeable future.
Okay, yeah, like how exactly it will like affecting my performance ratings and like the compensation, like in my position.
Yeah, we're actually still working through the transition right now. HR should reach out to you shortly.
Okay.
In the meantime, just go ahead and continue to meet all your deadlines and ensure your production doesn't go down because we really need you right now.
Okay, of course. I'm gonna be there for the company. So thank you for reaching me out and give me that information.
Thank you, of course. If you need anything, just reach out.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, J boy, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Well, not really good. As you can know, like I can't believe so many people have lost their jobs.
It's messed up, man. It's like, what are we gonna do now that we have so many more duties?
Like I don't even know. Like I'm not sure. Like, but I do know that it will be like difficult to give like my whole in this company. After this layoff situation.
That's facts. Like, how could they expect me to put my heart and soul into this company, and they didn't even tell us all the reasons for the layoff?
Yeah, I know. Like exactly. Like that's. I don't know. That's. How am I even like supposed to continue here if I like cannot trust like the top management? Like I don't know.
You can't trust nobody out here. You can't trust nobody. That's why I wasn't even here Tuesday. I went to the firm across town for an interview. Their culture seems to have everything. Ours is lacking.
Oh man, I hope it went well. But like if they had just like be honest with us and work to improve our conditions here, like everything could have been like avoided. And now like we may lose like all the best employees we had, like all our co-workers.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like the morale run here like is already super low. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy out here. I figured now's the best time to leave because we never know who's going to be the next one fired because they don't
Yeah.
really care about it.
Yeah, you're right, bro. I just hope that like your interview went well and you're gonna have the job because I think that's gonna be the best for you.
Thanks, bro. I hope I get it. I hope you can come too. We can both leave this awful company.
Yeah, why not? Okay, that was really good to talk to you, J boy. Thank you.
No problem. See you.
While the effects of downsizing have implications on all types of businesses and strategies, survivor syndrome is most dangerous for organizations pursuing loyal soldier or committed expert strategies. This is because both loyal soldier and committed expert use an internal labor orientation. They depend on finding a stable, committed workforce with high levels of identity, relatedness, and organizational fit. If those in the workplace see their coworkers being laid off, they will begin to view their organization as unfair and untrustworthy, causing them to question their fit within this organization. Eventually, as previously discussed, these feelings can evolve into dissatisfaction and could lead surviving employees to also exit the organization. For loyal soldiers, this means their cost leadership strategy could be at risk, as the costs associated with replacing voluntary separations could undermine their competitive advantage by passing costs on to consumers. For committed experts, their strategy of differentiation depends on highly skilled workforce that possess specialized skills that competitors lack. Survivor syndrome can cause thoughts of quitting and declines in productivity, which will surely eat away at their competitive strategy as they lose employees who decide to quit and possibly even join competing firms. This decline in productivity among remaining workers can have a drastic impact on a company's financial standing and long-term profitability, especially since companies that engage in downsizing often do so during already existing financial difficulties. For these reasons, it is important that managers and HR professionals understand the effects of downsizing, especially in those employees who remain. Now that we've discussed the relevance of survivor syndrome and the adverse effects it can have, what kind of actions can managers take to mitigate some of those effects? One relatively simple way to mitigate some of the effects of survivor syndrome is to communicate openly with workers. This means being clear, concise, and honest with them about the downsizing process and the temporary toll it may take on workers that remain. It also means answering any questions employees may have on what downsizing will mean for them and addressing any concerns they may have. It is also important that managers explain where they will fit within the organization and how this might have specific consequences for them. These steps taken by management to alleviate concerns by providing honest, useful information can help prevent employees from feeling the company and its decision is unfair or deceptive. Another way managers can help employees who might suffer from survivor syndrome is to remain engaged. This means providing a support structure for remaining workers by creating as much worker involvement in the downsizing process as possible. Managers must provide just as much attention and support to those remaining in the organization as those being laid off. Asking employees for suggestions, listening to their concerns, and asking questions to recognize them can help remaining employees feel valued and appreciated. This can help prevent employees from having second thoughts on their fit within the organization and ensuring that they actually belong. HR professionals can also create training programs to help surviving employees adapt to their new role within the downsized company. This is because jobs are often combined, shared, or redesigned after downsizing. Workers often can feel overwhelmed or confused about their new roles and responsibilities. Providing sufficient training or cross-training to those employees will reduce stress, anxiety, and frustration at work. This would likely maintain efficiency and productivity. To summarize, we've discussed the concept of survivor syndrome by defining it as the negative feelings, thoughts, and behaviors of employees that survive a downsizing event. Often, these negative attitudes lead to dysfunctional behavior, which decrease productivity and reduce an organization's ability to compete and generate profits. We also talked about why managers should understand the effects of downsizing not just on those that are laid off, but those who remain. We talked about why the companies using loyal soldier and committed expert HRM strategies are most vulnerable to survivor syndrome and have the most to lose if they do not take actions to address it. We then discussed the application of this information by providing managers and professionals with practical steps they can take to proactively mitigate some of the negative effects of downsizing on surviving workers. We suggested that management 1. Provide truthful, clear, and adequate information to remaining employees. 2. Engage employees by providing a robust amount of structure, emphasizing attention, appreciation, and recognition to survivors. And 3. Implement sufficient training programs to workers whose jobs have been redesigned or restructured as a result of downsizing. We are Group 7, and thank you for watching.